Oh, I cannot wait for all the holiday food. It is right around the corner. And as you're planning out those menus, you got to remember those calories add up fast. Making healthy food choices should not just be something we think about during the holidays, but all the time in our daily lives. To help us do that, registered dietitian Angela Johnston is here. She's with Cone Health Nutrition and Diabetes Education Services. And for To Your Wellbeing, she's going to talk about how we can eat healthy during the holidays. Is it possible and you still get the good taste, Angela?
Thank you. I have a little bit of background noise, but I think you asked how we can get good taste during the holidays.
Yeah, good taste and healthy food at the same time. It seems so
Oh,
foreign.
great. Yeah, so, bringing vegetables, I know you don't think of vegetables as like the tasty option, but there are so many great ways you can fix vegetables, like roasting. Vegetables can make them beautiful, and the aroma and the flavor is so great to bring to your holiday meal.
What about how do we not eat too much?
Yeah, that can be really hard, especially that Thanksgiving meal, because what we do is we don't eat during the day, so we're hungry for that meal. We go in famished, and it's almost guaranteed we're going to get stuffed if we go in famished. So make sure and eat breakfast. You can skip the snacks if you want, so you're comfortably hungry when you get to that meal, so you can still really enjoy it.
My problem is not eating at the meal, it's all the snacking throughout the day afterwards. How do you control that?
So out of sight, out of mind. A lot of times we leave stuff out, and it's really easy to just pick on it if it's out where we see it. So putting those leftovers in the freezer so we can still enjoy them, but we have to be really mindful and consciously choose to pull them out of the freezer and when we want to have them later.
That's such a great tip. I would have never thought of that. Healthy eating is something that we should be doing ongoing, as you say. What are ways in our everyday life to make sure that we're healthy?
Well, a lot of people are very confused about what it means to eat healthy because people try and get too specific about specific foods. Which food shouldn't I eat? Which food should I eat? And if you just keep the basics in mind, it really isn't that difficult. So just making sure you get whole grains like whole grain bread, brown rice, and just your daily meals, and lots of fruits and vegetables, and of course lean protein, and balance your meals. And really that's the key, and it doesn't have to be complicated.
I heard you say whole grain and some other carbs in there too. Are carbs not the enemy?
No, not at all. Carbs give us energy. That's why we like them, because they make us feel good. And they make us feel good for a reason, because we need that energy, right?
So how do we make sure we don't overdo it on the carbs?
So if you've seen my plate before, it's like half of the plate full of vegetables. And doing that alone will fill us up and help us not to overdo the other categories of foods.
Why is it so important to healthy eat? Are there health issues if we don't?
Oh, absolutely. So food really is the key to good health. And, occasional treats are fine. We don't have to eat a perfect meal or snack every time. But the more we can eat those, the more we're going to ensure that we have better health.
What are some issues that you could have health-wise if you aren't healthy with your diet?
Well, I guess one of the focus I have is diabetes because I do diabetes education. So definitely it can help prevent diabetes. And the thing about diabetes is it doesn't have any symptoms until it's out of control. So you don't want to wait until you're sick to change your diet. You want to prevent it by eating well now.
With COVID out there, we've had a lot of people say over the months that there's certain things you can eat that will help you avoid the virus. Is that true?
Well, you really can't avoid it, but you can boost up your immune system. And yes, so vegetables, like if you do a healthy salad, a colorful salad, one day a meal, one meal a day, and then let's say for dinner you have some more vegetables and a fruit during the day, you're going to get over 200% of your vitamin C. You don't need to take supplements, but just getting those vitamins through your food, and then also getting outside in the sunshine and going for a walk, that can also add to that benefit of boosting your immune system.
I've heard you say before in the past that good nutrition starts with the youngest of the young, even during pregnancy. How do you control eating healthy during pregnancy, and why is that so important?
It can be hard because women do get a lot of cravings during pregnancy, which may not be the healthiest. And as before I was saying balance is really the key. So not saying that you can't ever have those treats, but making sure you fill up your plate, especially with healthy greens, and beans can be really helpful during pregnancy because they have the vitamins that are really important during pregnancy, such as folate and iron and everything that a body needs, but especially during pregnancy when you're building that foundation of this little person.
A second ago, you held up that salad. A lot of people out there thinking, that health food stuff is expensive. How do I do this and make my resources stretch?
Yeah, that's true. A lot of people do have that in mind, and it can be depending on what you get. A lot of times, getting things in season will be less expensive. Frozen foods are great. You can always find them on sales, and that way you can keep them in your freezer so you don't waste money when you have to throw out food that goes bad. A lot of food freezes well too, so if you have spent a lot of money on food and you feel like you're not going to eat it, definitely put it in the freezer and pull it out later.
And write on it when you put it in the freezer what it is and the date you put it in so you know how long it's good.
Great tip.
Okay, so I'm curious, because you're such a pro, what are your favorite go-to snacks when you get hungry?
Well, I really like peanut butter. I like it on celery. I like it on apples. It just pairs really well with a lot of foods, and it's really satisfying and gives you a heart-healthy fat and protein. So it's kind of a good thing that goes with a lot of other foods.
And how often do you actually let yourself have a guilty pleasure item? Like a piece of cake. When was the last time you had that?
Oh goodness, I had some chocolate yesterday.
Okay. So when you're setting rules for yourself, is it like once a day is too much? Once a week?
I'm glad you brought that up because a lot of people do want to have rules, and I really don't like rules. I like having more of allowing yourself to enjoy these foods without guilt and knowing they're available. But before you actually indulge in them, ask yourself, do I really want this? Or am I just eating it because I'm bored or somebody else is eating it and I just want to join in? And so there's a lot of reasons why we eat these foods when we really don't want them. And so being more mindful is really the key. And that really helps a person get balance. They don't have to make hard rules.
Talking about being mindful, how important is it to meal prep for the week?
Well, it kind of depends on your lifestyle. So if you work a 9 to 5 job and really don't have time to cook during the week, meal prep can be so valuable. If you haven't meal prepped before, it can be overwhelming. So I would suggest don't try and like meal prep for the entire week if you've never done it before, but maybe just 1 or 2 meals and just make a dish that you like and make more of it and stick some in the freezer.
And you can always go back to that freezer full of good stuff that you have standing by.
I hope you have a big freezer.
Okay, so real quick in 15 seconds here, what's the advice for the holidays about overeating?
So overeating is, oh goodness.
It's gonna happen, right?
15 seconds. It's gonna happen, yes. And don't feel guilty. Don't think it's the end of the world if you don't have a perfect day. Just the next day, just make a new resolution of what your plan is for the day and what your intention is, and try and just get back on that some healthy foods back in your diet.
I absolutely am going to use the trick this year about shoving that stuff in the freezer as soon as you're done. Well, we learned a lot. Thank you for being here with us. If you missed any of this, we're going to put it all up on WFMY News 2. It's in the 2 Wants to Know section. That way you can share all those great tricks with your family and friends too.